Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of MySTV. My name is Georgia, and today I'm going to show you how to talk about household items. So I studied French for 12 years, but once I moved to France, I realized that I did not know basic words for things around the house. I could talk about poetry and philosophy in French, but I didn't know the word for sock. And I know a lot of my students have the same problem in English. They just don't know the names of these objects. So today, I'm gonna run down the list of basic household vocabulary that you can use whenever. Let's start with the most important room in the house, the kitchen. So here's the scene. It's dinner time and your mom wants you to set the table. What do you need to set the table? Well, of course you need glasses, and you will need plates, knives, forks, and spoons. We have 3 different words for that category. You can say silverware, flatware, or cutlery. I say silverware, but it doesn't matter. Then, in case you get dirty, you can use a napkin to wipe your face or wipe your hands. And if you're having soup, or for breakfast, if you're having cereal, you can use a bowl. That is what it's called, a bowl, for salads as well, and sometimes for pasta. Now, if you open a nice bottle of Chianti, you're gonna use a wine glass. But I have something here that you guys might not know. What is this object called? I asked this question to my students, and do you know what they answer? They say, oh, this is a glass. A glass? What material is this made out of? Is it glass? No, you cannot call this a glass because it's made out of plastic. This is called a cup. Yep, plastic, paper, whatever, cup. If it's called a glass, it means it is made out of glass, okay? What about the big cup you use for hot chocolate or tea? What is that called? That is a mug. Okay, it's usually made out of ceramic, but you can have glass mugs as well. But yeah, a mug. Or if you're very proper and visiting the Queen, you can just call that a teacup. Now, after you set the table, or no, not after, that would be crazy. Before you set the table, you put a piece of fabric on top of the table to protect the table from the meal. What is that called? That is called a tablecloth. Yep. A tablecloth. That is it for the kitchen. Now let's go to the bedroom. Your mom asks you to make the bed. Your mom is asking you a lot of things today, but it doesn't matter. When you make the bed, the first thing that's important for a bed is the mattress, okay? Now those come in a variety of sizes. One person, that is called a twin mattress. Slightly bigger is a full mattress. Then for 2 people, you have a queen mattress. And then the biggest of all, except for the California version, is the king-sized mattress. And you also have a California king, which is an exaggeration, but yeah. Then the thing you put your head on at night is called a pillow. Pillow. This is English. W is not pronounced V. Pillow. And then the fabric you put on top of the mattress and on top of you, those are called sheets. Sheets, okay? Not the other pronunciation. Then on top of your pillow to protect it, you have the pillowcase, right? You stuff it in and you do this to make sure it's in. That's the pillowcase. In the winter or the autumn or fall, as I would say, you can have a blanket, and a blanket is just the general term for a thicker, warmer piece of fabric that you put on top of yourself. If it's very, very cold where you are, you can have a duvet or a comforter. And those are those really, really comfortable, thick, warm things you put on yourself in the winter over the sheets, all right? Now, usually next to the bed, you have a little light, a little lamp, and you have your books, your water, your medicine, whatever. Next to the bed, that piece of furniture, similar to this, it could be actually, is called a nightstand or a bedside table. Boom. Now that you've finished tidying up the bedroom, your mom has also asked you to look at the bathroom. What you have in the bathroom is pretty simple. So the first thing is where you wash your hands. That furniture, I guess, that place where you wash your hands is called the sink. You also have a sink in the kitchen, right? Wash your hands, wash the vegetables, whatever. Then the place where the water comes out of, that's called the faucet. Turn on the faucet, turn off the faucet, and wash your hands in the sink. And the water goes down the drain. You have a drain in the sink in the kitchen and in the shower, in the bathtub, right? That's where the water drains out of. It's also the verb. Next, the little compartment, the little closet, little place in the bathroom where you can put all your creams and lotions and medicine, that is called the medicine cabinet. Even if you don't have any medicine inside of it, it is still called the medicine cabinet. Then you have the place where you do your business in the bathroom. It's where you have your business meetings, let's say. That little chair, I guess, where after a meal you like to go and kind of get a little lighter. That is called the toilet. Yes, sometimes the room is referred to as the toilet, but the object you sit on, the porcelain throne, is called a toilet. Make sure you wash your hands after you go each time. And yeah, those are the basic household items that I think everybody should know how to say and how to use in a sentence. You tell us some words that you learned in the comments or some words that we did not include here. Make sure to like and subscribe and check us out for more videos. Thanks, guys.